Hello, everybody. It's Big Buffet, and I've been hearing there's some weird shit going on in Chicago, so, let's have a look at that. Well, let's see what this is. Let's see. Chicago police sources blast department's response after officers were told not to help feds cover their ass. Let me see. Is there like a summary of this article? I guess this is a summary. Internal dispatch reveals patrol chief refused assistance as federal agents were rammed and surrounded by armed crowds. Let's have a look at what they have to say about this.
Intense protests in Chicago after border agents shot an armed woman Saturday morning. DHS says agents acted in self-defense after she
that is self-defense. They had a gun.
Rammed them with her car. A hospital has released.
And I guess they rammed the person with the car.
Hello, Christina.
Hi, Mike. Yeah, things also got heated last night between anti-ICE protesters and federal agents in the Brighton Park neighborhood of Chicago last night. Take a look at this
good old
video.
Chicago. The only good thing about that place now is the Chicago-style hot dog. Look at all these retards. They should all go to jail. Spell it Jail. Jail. Look at this idiot.
On the ground there says
Look, ugly fat woman alert. Let's go back. Ugly fat woman alert.
Anti-ICE protesters were throwing objects at ICE agents and vehicles. Law enforcement deployed tear gas to break up the violent crowd. ICE, CBP, and FBI agents were all at the scene, and at one point, anti-ICE protesters attempted to block a major roadway in Broadview, Illinois. State troopers made several arrests after that incident. Also, federal authorities say Border Patrol law enforcement officers were ambushed by domestic terrorists who rammed federal agents with their vehicles and boxed them.
Shoot them. Kill them. Make them regret what they did.
And with their cars the night before in Broadview, Illinois, that same area where anti-ICE protesters have been gathering for weeks now. Take a look at this. DHS says this woman...
See, these protesters are why you can't have nothing nice. You can't have fun and comedy anymore because everybody has to be a wimp. Couldn't say the word I wanted to.
Miramar Martinez was driving one of the vehicles.
Oh, wow, look.
With a semi-automatic weapon and has a history of doxing federal agents. And authorities identified this man.
They're both ugly ass people.
And that you see there as Anthony Ian Santos Ruiz. They say he was a driver of another vehicle in this incident.
Fuck getting their name right. They're
said,
idiots.
Quote, the scene became increasingly violent as more domestic terrorists gathered and began throwing smoke, gas, rocks, and bottles at DHS law enforcement. Another domestic terrorist was arrested for assaulting CBP at the scene. Extremely dangerous. Take a listen.
A 10-car caravan followed and stalked our agents and then circled them in and pinned them down. They had to shoot their way out of their cars in order to get to safety. So we do have some bounties that have been released on the heads of our agents, $10,000 to kill them, and they're naming specific agents.
That's crazy. Find out who made the bounties, line them up against a wall, and fire squad their ass.
Now, this comes days after violent clashes between anti-ICE protesters and federal law enforcement outside of the ICE facility in Broadview, Illinois. It seems like it's happening there night after night. Yesterday, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker said he was notified that the Trump administration intends to federalize 300 members of the National Guard.
Yeah, scare these people off.
Said, quote, the Trump administration's Department of War gave me an ultimatum. Call up your troops or we will. It is absolutely outrageous and un-American to demand a governor send military troops within our own borders and against our will. So Pritzker maintains there's no need for military troops on the ground in Illinois, and he says that he will not.
Yeah, well, he's a fat, ugly
National
fuck,
Guard.
too.
And in
Look
Oregon,
at him.
where there's been violent protests outside
His
of the
teeth
ICE
were too
facility in
split
Portland
apart,
for
too.
days now. In response to all of that, the Trump administration announced that 200
Fucking
Oregon National
bozo.
Guard troops would be federalized to protect federal property. But in a
Fuck the
ruling
judge.
yesterday,
Just send them
a federal
anyways.
judge in Oregon temporarily blocked the Trump administration from doing that. Well, the Trump administration.
Oh, we're talking
is
about
already
Portland
fighting
now?
The judge's decision. They filed a notice of appeal to the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals.
Fucking
late
Portland's a
yesterday.
shithole,
We'll
too.
see how that all plays out. Mike?
Christina Coleman, thanks very much. Now let's bring in Fox News contributor and defense attorney Ted Williams. Ted, welcome.
Thank you, Mike.
I want to play some sound from Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem
Let-
and get you to react to it.
Sure.
Let's title this video Portland and Chicago Shitholes.
Our intelligence indicates that these people are
Damn, my
organized,
fucking
they're
pants are
getting
going up my
people,
fat ass.
on their team as far as attacking officers, and they're making plans to ambush them and to kill them. We have specific officers and agents that have bounties that have been put out on their heads. It's been $2,000
didn't you
to kidnap them, $10,000
didn't you
to
just
kill
say
them.
this?
They've
Oh, I didn't
released
hear
their
about
pictures.
kidnapping.
They've sent them between their networks, and
Did
it's
I
an
go
extremely
back at all?
dangerous situation.
No, they're just saying the same shit.
Very dangerous situation. Ted, what's your reaction?
Extremely dangerous, and it's sad that we've gotten to where we are in this country, where you have individuals out here who are disrespecting law enforcement officers who are.
Do you know what they did in the 1800s when people went crazy and considered themselves anarchists? Do a little bit of research.
Only trying to do their
Honestly, look at the 50s too when people would say they were communist.
duty. I grew up, Mike, in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and we had something called officer friendly.
We should do the same thing now.
Citizens knew that what the police officers were doing was to be respected, and they were respected. And now we find, unfortunately, that throughout this country, law enforcement officers are under siege, and that should not be.
About the incident yesterday in the Chicago area where federal agents were boxed in and threatened DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin.
Just
saying,
shoot the people threatening
quote,
you.
"Law
You have the
enforcement was
right.
forced to deploy their weapons and fire defensive shots.
Fuck
at an
defensive
armed
shots.
US
Let's
citizen."
use real
Does that suggest
shots.
They felt like their lives were at risk.
Absolutely. I mean, when you box law enforcement officers in,
People will
and
start
they are
listening
in
when you do
Chicago
that.
there, and the law enforcement officers actually seen one of the individuals with a rifle. Law enforcement officers have the right to protect themselves under those circumstances.
See?
Dan Bongino from the FBI.
People gotta
says
be
this effort to
careful.
intimidate federal agents will not slow them down, and the mission will not stop. Is that your expectation as well?
It is definitely my expectation, Mike. These law enforcement officers have been given a job to do, and they're going to perform their job as they've always done in this country.
There were some complaints yesterday from Homeland Security officials that local police in the Chicago area did not step in to help these law enforcement, these federal agents. Does that concern you as someone with a law enforcement background?
Very concerning and alarming.
If I was a cop in these cities, I'd tell. Well, was it Chicago? If I was a cop in Chicago, I'd tell them, "Fuck you, I'm doing my job."
The one thing that law enforcement officers have is to back up other law enforcement officers. And under the circumstances of what we've been told, I think there's definitely a need for an investigation to determine if Chicago law enforcement officers did not back up federal law enforcement officers. That is just inappropriate under the circumstances.
Any cops that didn't help out, they should go to jail too.
Is this one of the most dangerous situations you've seen in your career facing federal agents?
Mike, it is where, according to the Secretary of Homeland Security, there are bounties out on law enforcement officers, where law enforcement officers, unfortunately, cannot go home because they're being followed, where law enforcement
Put bounties on the people making bounties.
officers have to wear masks because they don't want their identities out there because they're concerned about their families. That should never happen in America.
They swear an oath to protect and defend, right? And they're doing their jobs and they're being threatened. It's really sick.
It's unfair. It's unfair to those good men and women out here who put that uniform on, and all they want to do is serve and protect their communities every day.
Ted Williams, great to see you. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Let's get out of here. Well, folks, proof again that people are dumb. And Chicago and Portland,
Clutter and stand out on the #1 platform people use to make
stupid ads. But anyways, Chicago and Portland, they're shitholes. And I'm glad I don't live there. Like and subscribe.